Welcome to Musings of an Extrovert. My name is Darvin Muentes. I am your host, and this is an exciting day. For the longest time, my podcast has been just audio. And while it is going to remain audio for just a while longer, this is an exciting day because today I have posted my first video version. So they will be sporadic at first. Hang with me if you want to watch on YouTube. I thank you for wanting to watch on YouTube, but we're going to start out a little bit slow at my capacity, what I can do. And this is about where I can go. So, I'm going to try my hardest to get video out to the world, at least with my current setup. But in the future, make no mistake, this is where the podcast is headed. So I wanted to fittingly talk about where the podcast is headed using video. Because fittingly, I want to try to get video onto the podcast. I think it's awesome that people can make content using video, and I really want to get there. And I know that I've mentioned it in previous podcasts that I want to get there with video, so that's what I'm going to try to do. It's still going to take a little bit of time before I can get there fully doing video on this podcast. So just so everyone knows, I started this podcast knowing very, very little about audio editing. I have jumped in head first, and you guys have been so great because your response has been awesome, and you've enjoyed the podcast. You've enjoyed the quality of the podcast, the quality of the audio, and I'm hoping that I can bolster that with quality video. So that is what I'm going to try to do. Now, I am not a video editor. Just as I wasn't an audio editor previously, I do not have really any experience editing videos. Even making TikTok videos are a little bit foreign to me, and kind of difficult. But I have started, and I've jumped on to trying to make some reels and some shorts for YouTube. So I'm going to be doing that in the future. But it's going to take a little bit of time. So if you've been listening and you've been bearing with me as all you've gotten has been audio, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it, and I'm really glad that you've listened thus far and you've gone in this journey with me to this point. But yeah, here we are. I really want to get this podcast to a place where I am creating video content and bringing interviews to you guys, just talking with people. Like, I love having conversations with people, and you guys seem to love when I have conversations with people. So that's really where I want to go. I want to be able to capture their emotions, all their thoughts, and the expressions of their face in my podcast. So that is on the horizon. That is one of the things I'm trying to get to. And yeah, I wanted to tell you a quick story. Since this podcast episode was going to be very short in the first place, I just wanted to share a story from my youth. So as a young student, I don't know if I shared this before. I might not have shared this. Well, no, actually, maybe I did share this. If I have shared this before, I'm sorry that you have to hear it again. But if you hear it again and you're laughing at it, please feel free to laugh again. So when I was in high school, I had a friend. He asked me if I had my mountain board with me in my car, to which I responded yes, because I always had it with me in my car. And something happened. I let him take it, and then this other friend, they grabbed a blanket and they clamped it underneath his car or underneath his trunk. So they were using it as a rope. And then the one friend with the car drove the car while the other friend got onto the mountain board and rode behind the car and was getting pulled by the car. So when I was younger, we went to this church that had a 3 or 4 level parking garage. And so my one friend pulled the other friend around the parking garage, and they came back and he was fine. Well, I get on the mountain board. Granted, we did not have any helmets. We didn't have any pads, nothing. Okay? I get on this mountain board, and he pulls me on the mountain board through the whole parking garage. Everything's going great. It's actually really, really fun. I'm really enjoying it. And then we get to the bottom, and we're going up the hill to get to the top of the hill. And as we're going, my friend accelerates the car, but the acceleration was just a little too quick for the mountain board. And the mountain board started to catch those speed wobbles. For all the skaters out there, you know what the speed wobbles are. It started catching speed wobbles, and then all of a sudden, it turned completely sideways, and I flew off of the mountain board and landed right on my shoulder. It was wild. I actually got some pretty big scars on my knuckles from it. And yeah, it was wild. But yeah, that was a fun story from high school. I remember I came home and my mom had found out from someone at my job, because I called my job and told them I'm not coming in today. I just got into a mountain boarding accident, and I can barely walk right now. And my mom came in with food for me that day, which I didn't expect for her to do. And she came in and someone told her he got into an accident, but that's all they told her. They didn't tell her it was a mountain boarding accident. They didn't tell her that I was okay, that I was doing fine. All they told her is that I got into an accident. And so, naturally my mother freaked out and she gave me a call and she asked me, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And then she was like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Oh, I got into this little accident with the mountain board and I fell off of it. And I'm okay, but I'm kind of beat up." And so I drove home, and my parents gave it to me that night. They were yelling at me. They were not happy. And they took me to the ER because I could barely walk. My hip was really, really bruised. But that's all that happened. I didn't actually break anything. I just bruised my hip, which was great, because I didn't want to have to not walk. But that accident also caused a fracture on the cartilage in my collarbone, which took me out of the season. This was my junior year of high school, so it took me out of my volleyball season. And your junior year and senior year are both very important years for volleyball recruitment, and so I couldn't play. I only played one game that entire club season, and then I was just like, it stunk. It was really bad. So yeah, that is a good point to kids out there. Wear your helmets, wear your pads, and don't listen to your friend when your friend tells you to clamp the blanket underneath the trunk and drive you around a big parking garage. So yeah, that happened. That's a story. So that concludes this episode today. I didn't want this one to be long because, again, I have to edit this, so I'm not the best at editing. So I'm going to do my best to put this content out there for you all so you guys can hear it, see it, enjoy it. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. Have a great day.